What's up, kitchen table wizards? What's up, deck brewers from all over the world? It's Magic the Gathering tribal time again, and if you wanna be inspired to brew yourself a nice werewolf deck, well, you have come to the right place. So sit back, relax and enjoy the show as we're going werewolves. So a long time ago I brewed myself a werewolf deck, and I think it's time we're going to upgrade this one with some cards from Innistrad Midnight Vow. Now before we head into the deck, I want to give out a quick shout out to our partner Cardmarket. They are still the best place in Europe to get your singles, to get your boosters, to sell your magic cards, to get yourself some werewolves. So if you never tried out Cardmarket, I have something for you. In the description below you can find the info how to contact me and to claim a free €5 voucher to try Cardmarket for free. Now Cardmarket, they're also the sponsor of our little gauntlet series. You can find it here if you're new to the channel. It's a really cool tournament series where you can participate, and we have a lot of casual decks. Battle it out for glory,
but most of all for your viewing pleasure.
Yes, thank you, Nora. Nora is still here. She is still our intern, our queen of the edits for a few weeks, because then she's going to leave us. She's going to venture into new territory, new adventures. Nora, we will miss you.
Will I get a present when I leave?
Yeah, why not? But I don't really know what. So maybe let's first ask the fans some suggestions. Put in the comments below the video what we could give Nora as a thank you present for all the hard work she did. Now let's head into the woods of guessing and find ourselves some werewolves. Okay, I know most of the time my decks are budget around €50, and this werewolf deck of mine, it was budget, it was around €50, but then Innistrad Midnight Vow happened and some of those werewolves went pooh, up the roof, through the roof, on the roof, further than the roof. All those prices went bonkers. So this deck is going to be a little bit more expensive, but you know what? When we have an expensive card that's more than €10, we'll do a little sound effect. Nora? Yeah, okay. Something like that, so you know that you can switch that card with another card. Okay, now let's head into the Innistrad landscape and look at some basic lands. I play 23 lands in the deck, which might be a little light, so feel free to add one more land if you want to. For the basics, I've chosen to mix it up with some light and darkness themed forests, 9 of them and 7 mountains. My budget mana base consists of 2 more Cinderglades and 2 Rugged Highlands. I also play 2 Evolving Wilds and 1 Keswick Wolf Run to help deal the final blow.
And it's also on theme.
Yeah, that's right, Nora. Now we have kept the mana base nice and budgety, so we have some dough left to put in our creatures. We start with 3 small werewolves that cost 1 mana. Wolf-Bitten Captive, Village Messenger and Keswick Prowler. And for this last one you can pay 5 mana to have it transform. And the other ones are humans who will transform at the upkeep when no spells are cast last turn. And then they will turn into Arlinn Kord Killer, a 2/2 that can get +4/+4 for 4 mana, Moonrise Intruder, a 2/2 with menace, and the Keswick Prowler turns into a 4/4 Sinuous Predator.
Do you also play some lords in this tribal deck?
Yes, I do. I play 5 lords in total. 1 Mayor of Avenbrook, which boosts humans, 2 Keswick Naturalists, which give us some mana, and also 2 Immerwolf. The last one has Intimidate. They boost all wolves and werewolves, and non-human werewolves don't transform back.
So they will stay forever wolf.
Yeah, correct. Now let's look also at the backside of those cards. The Mayor turns into Howlpack Alpha, a 3/3 that boosts wolves and werewolves and makes a wolf at the end of your turn. The Lord of the Ulvenwald is also a 3/3 that boosts your team and it still gives you some extra mana when it attacks. Then some more great 2-drops from Shadows over Innistrad, Lamphold Pacifist and Duskwatch Recruiter, and they also change into Lamphold Butcher, a 4/4 and Krallen Horde Howler. Next up, a mana fixer called Scorned Villager and a werewolf that deals with artifacts called Outland Liberator. And they become Moonscared Werewolf, a 2/2 with Vigilance that taps for 2 green mana, and a Frenzied Trap Breaker. And this one destroys enchantments or artifacts when it attacks.
The art of the Scorned Villager is really awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree. Sometimes I think we even forget looking at the beautiful art and we're too much focused on the strength of the cards. But look at those colors and this great atmosphere created by Cynthia Shepard. This is truly a masterpiece if you ask me. I think maybe it also could be a great idea for Nora to dress up like and we make a TikTok video.
Or maybe let's just continue with the werewolves. Breakneck Rider is a 3/3 for 3 mana and this bandit is a 3/2 with haste. Bram, aren't you going to tell us what they turn into when there is a full moon?
Okay. So the Neckbreaker is a 4/3 that has attacking creatures get +1/+0 and trample, and the Pack Alpha transforms all werewolves that come into the battlefield immediately. Now this is a creature focused deck. And the Werewolf Pack Leader is a great aggressive creature that when you attack with 6 power or more, you can draw a card. 2 wolves that are on team is Ulrich's Kindred that gives 1 attacking werewolf indestructible or a Spirit of the Hunt. And this one you can play as an instant and when it enters the battlefield it gives your team +0/+3. Mondronen Shaman is a werewolf that turns into Tovolar's Mage Hunter, a 5/5 that whenever an opponent casts a spell, it deals 2 damage to that player.
So now we must include Tovolar as well, right?
Yes, Tovolar finally has his own card in Innistrad Midnight Hunt. It's a 3/3 for 3 mana that whenever a wolf or werewolf deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. And of course, when it becomes night, he turns into Tovolar the Midnight Scourge, a 4/4 that combines both Tovolar with Kessig Wolfrun.
I also heard that Tovolar returns as a Grave Titan.
What do you mean?
This is a 6/6 for 6 mana that when it enters the battlefield it creates 2 wolves. Sounds familiar, right?
Very true, Nora, and when it turns into a werewolf, you can also pay 4 mana to have a wolf or werewolf you control fight with a creature you don't control.
And it's a 7/7.
Yes, a very powerful card this one, and probably my favorite card to come out in Innistrad Midnight Vow. Another werewolf is this Stormseeker. It gives a creature haste and +1/+0 each turn, and in werewolf form it's a 3/4 that gives +2/+0 and haste to a creature each turn. Another new one is this Village Watch. A 4/3 with haste for 5 is not that impressive, but I do like this backside that gives all wolves and werewolves haste. Another flavorful include is this Cult of the Waxing Moon.
I was sure he was going to call it the Cult of the Waxing Legs.
What was that, Nora?
Oh, nothing, go on, I'm listening.
Okay, this is a 5/4 that when a permanent transforms, it makes a wolf. And for 5 mana, a 5/4 is decent. Next, this Smoldering Werewolf. A 3/2 for 4 mana that deals up to 1 damage to maximum 2 targets. And of course, you can transform it into Erupting Dreadwolf. A 6/4 that when it attacks, it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Now, the next 2 cards, they are a little bit responsible for this little price jump our deck made. Good tip to you guys, if you want to build a tribal deck or if you have tribal cards, keep them, because sometimes when a tribe gets a lot of new power, those cards go through the roof. Then you can keep them or you can sell them. So good tip, hang on to your tribal cards. Ulrich of the Arlinn Horde is a 4/4 for 5 mana, and when it enters the battlefield or it transforms, it can give a creature +4/+4. And when it turns into a werewolf, you can have this one fight another creature you don't control. Now the really pricey one is this Huntmaster of the Fells, a 4/4 for 4 mana that when it enters the battlefield or transforms, it makes a wolf and you gain 2 life. And when it transforms, it also deals 2 damage to your opponent and a creature. So these were all the werewolves, all the creatures, but it ain't over yet. We also are going to play some support for our werewolves. Let's look at some enchantments. First up, Full Moonrise. It gives all werewolves +1/+0 and trample, and you can sack it to generate your wolfman. So a slam dunk of a card. Cool one. Ranger class is another great include. It makes a wolf, it has you put some counters on attacking creatures, and it has you play wolfman from the top of your library. And of course, you need to also include Howlpack Resurgence, a combat trick and a permanent bump spell merged into a great wolf card. Now some combat tricks and some removal. This one maybe isn't on flavor, but I was missing some cheap cards in the early games, so I added one Abundant Harvest to search for lands or wolves. Moonlight Hunt is another good removal spell for 2 mana. And I also wanted to include Clan Defiance to deal with flyers, non-flyers, or deal that extra damage to your opponent. Another combat trick is this Pit Fight. And Moon Mist also is a real blowout, as it transforms all humans at instant speed and even prevents all combat damage dealt by non-humans. And it even prevents all combat damage your opponent's creatures will deal. Now, normally I like to put a Planeswalker in my decks as well, but this time I really couldn't choose, so I put in all 3 of them. The original Arlinn Kord enters with 3 loyalty. You can have it plus to have a creature gain +2/+2 and gain haste and vigilance. Or for 0 you can transform it and make a wolf. And then you get Arlinn Embraced by the Moon. She can give creatures trample and +1/+1. And it can also deal damage to a creature or player for its -1, and its -6 gives you an emblem where creatures can tap to deal damage to any target creature or player. Arlinn number 2 is the Pack's Hope. It can have creatures enter the battlefield with flash, which is great to activate your night mode. Or you can make 2 wolf tokens with it. In night mode it also has 2 abilities. +2 as 2 mana in our green and red colors, or you can turn it into a indestructible 5/5 werewolf with trample and haste. And this Arlinn is the voice of the pack that can create wolves, and it has a static ability that whenever wolves or werewolves enter the battlefield, they enter with a +1/+1 counter. So this was our werewolf deck. Give the video a like if you enjoyed the content, and also come back on Sunday because we will be announcing a new gauntlet finally. As always, keep it casual. I'm really glad Nora didn't turn me into a werewolf in this deck. Uh-oh.